topic today, don't we, to talk about?
We do. I'm excited.
I know, like hospitality, I think for both of us, we've always talked about this just as friends and colleagues, and it's just been like adopted as a way of life, right?
100%.
Wow, and we've
Always.
picked
Yep.
up so many hospitality hacks along the way. We've like introduced into our personal lives and into, our family and friends and even the work, I
Totally.
think. Yeah, yeah. So do you want to
Always.
just dive
Always the
in?
work.
Like, right. Like
Yeah.
what are some of your faves hospitality hacks?
So one of the things I like to do, I don't always do it, but oftentimes I do it when I have guests visiting, especially overnight. I have I call it the suck up picture, but nobody knows it. So now my cover's blown. But I always have a frame in like the guest bedroom that I'll put in another photo of that guest and like me or somebody or, a time that we had spent together and just kind of put it in there when they arrive. And I got that from one of my site visits a long time ago when they found on the internet when it was just still like Facebook was still a new thing. They found a picture of my dog at the time and put it in my hotel room in a nice frame, and it was just so cute. So I made a big impression on me, and since I've had other hotels do it too, I had one recently in Macau do it, and I just love it. So I do it in my home. That's one of my favorite hacks.
Oh my gosh, I
What about
love
you?
that. I think I remember seeing a picture of me when I spent the night with you at your place. So your your secret's out, but I
Totally.
just love that. That's awesome. Speaking of like, making the guest room feel special, like one of the things I love if we kind of stay in that space is I love like turning down a bed for a guest.
Oh yeah.
It's so fun. Like I just think that it can be really special to add a little treat to the nightstand. And hotels love different types of lighting layers. And I love
Mhm.
adding a candle and then like some soft music and turning down the bed. It's just like a delight and surprise for guests when they spend the night, and they always notice it. I also love, and you're really good at this, Eileen, welcome bags. I remember I
Oh,
got a fabulous one when I came out to see you. Yes, I still have my water bottle, and it was just great of all kind of like the local vibe.
yeah. So you're
Yeah,
the one who taught me about that because you've
I
done
did.
that.
I love
Yeah.
it.
I think when I was at
It's
cottage.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
this
And you did
makes
like,
people feel special.
yeah, you gave me this bowl and it's like it's a wooden bowl and it's from Michigan and it was like some blueberry thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was something with like blueberries in West Michigan. It was when I was staying at your cottage and
Oh yeah.
it was local and maybe you gave me blueberries with it. I don't think the wood had anything to do with blueberries, but it's blue. It's just really cute and it always reminds me of you and Matt and Benny and I think Kelly at the time, your old dog. And yeah, it just is really sweet. So I love those kind of things too.
That's fun. It does. It's that extra special layer and touch that makes people
Yeah.
feel warm and welcomed and surprised and delighted, which is all about hospitality.
Mhm.
That's what we do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I know, I think my
Uh,
next welcome gift when people come to my new house is going to be there's this great brand, and I can't remember the name of it, but I'll try and find it. They do these really cool, and I think I've given you some. They do these really cool, like kind of like Yeti type glasses, but they actually instead of having that metal or whatever, it's like glass insert surrounded by like an aluminum, and you can
huh.
brand them. They're all these fun colors, and the lid, so it's perfect for outside, but you can still drink wine from a glass container. Yeah, you don't have to
Mm.
about it breaking and shattering, you know. So I think that's kind of what I'm gonna be my next amenity gift when because I have a pool now. So,
Oh, right.
you
Yeah.
know, everybody can bring it out to the pool and yeah, anyway.
Cool hospitality. I like that.
I know.
So what was your, just as an event, I know that you plan so many events and you go on a ton of site tours. Do you have a favorite amenity that just is memorable that you received from a hotel or a site tour?
Trying to think. Um, I did a really cool, I did a site visit at the we can say hotel names, right? If they're good.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
did it I did it at the not St. Regis, sorry. The Ritz-Carlton in Laguna Niguel. And they did so they took me what I loved is that they gave me an experience. And so they
Mm.
took me stand-up paddleboarding. I'm obsessed with that. And they took me stand-up paddleboarding in the marina, which I thought was so nice. And then they gave me like a nice little like Lululemon type jacket that had like Laguna Niguel or something on there. And it was just, I loved that. Partly because I think it had the experience attached to it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's such a good idea. I think a lot of sales managers are just focused on the actual physical gift, but to create an experience, and then you can really like engage and get to know someone, and then you have a memory, you make a memory. I
Yeah,
love that.
and a lot of times event planners don't get out. People think it's such a
Right.
luxury job, and it's not always. You're oftentimes in airports or convention centers, hotels. You don't really see the local area. So the site visits are sometimes the only time you really get to know an area. And so adding a fun personal experience of something you know that they'll like is great. They did that for me in Macau too. They took me on this little it's not little. It's like one of those really tall buildings that have like a sphere almost. And we walked around the outside edge of it, like outside. They hooked you all
Mm.
up and stuff. And it was great. I got to see Macau and Hong Kong and parts of mainland China. So that was also something that really stuck with me too. Those kind of experiences for me is huge. What about you? Like, what are some of the cool amenities you've gotten as you've traveled?
One thing that we did, we used to, when I worked at the a hotel in like a lovely downtown Rochester, which was famous for their apple orchards and their like this local vibe of downtown. I encouraged this group, it was like probably about five of them, to travel like a local. So we
Okay.
took a half a day and traveled like a local and went to some really great downtown shops and tasted some local chocolates and made some really, at the time, there's this great soap making place. We made some like nice amenities. We went to an apple orchard. We picked apples on this cool hayride. And it
Huh.
was just, they were able to get to see and experience what their guests could potentially experience. So I used to always kind of challenge my team and say, yes, it's great to show like a beautiful hotel with gorgeous amenities, but
Mhm.
get them outside, get them to really live and feel the local vibe because that's what ultimately their guests for a convention will want to experience as well.
I agree. I think it's huge to and you get to
Yeah.
spend quality time with them, like you said earlier.
Yes. Make a
Yeah.
memory. Yeah. And
Huh?
I think that's a hospitality hack, right? It's just making that memory.
Mhm.
I often think of hospitality with housekeeping. Being in the hotel industry for so many years, I worked with some amazing housekeepers, and they taught me so much about cleaning that I've adopted into my own hacks at home. And
Oh
I don't know if
yeah.
you use this one, but instead of wiping down furniture just up and down when you're kind of dusting, it's the S wipe. So it's streaky if you go up and down, but if you wipe in an S shape and dust in an S shape with a towel or like a microfiber, it makes such a difference in cleaning a piece of furniture, and it gets every little dust off, speck of dust off instead of just streaking it up and down. And then the other one I love that I've adopted is vacuuming, but making sure that you're vacuuming toward the inside out, and your last vacuum is outside, leaving the room instead of in the middle of the room.
Okay. Nice.
Does that
I
make
think
sense? I don't know.
that
That's
too.
makes
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
mean it's a pretty
out of the
yeah,
room.
it's pretty basic, but I love that. I love that one. Yeah.
I had a cool hospitality moment that I kind of forgot about until just recently, but I was checking into a hotel and my birthday had been like the day or two before. And it was one of those site visits where I was out of the country. So I had flown from Australia to this country and it was like a last minute kind of thing. So they greet me and there's like a concierge that takes my passport because when you're out of the country, oftentimes you have to show your passport when you check in somewhere. So she took it. They just walked me right to the room. She took my passport, came back with it. I didn't think much of it. And later that night, I went to dinner with the salespeople and they brought out a birthday cake for me. And I'm like,
Mm.
how did you know it was my birthday? I'm like, I forgot it was my birthday, or like, that it had been like really recent. And she's like, the concierge noticed it on your passport when she took it to, you
So
know,
good.
right, yeah, and she passed it along and just those kind of things that make me proud to be part of the industry. you
Yeah.
know?
So I love that. That's what I call intuitive service. When, that you're delighting and surprising and you're anticipating a guest's needs even before. And it's nice to do that, as a hack at home. And
Hmm.
when you're entertaining people, and again, you've done this so well too over the years, is like, my one of my favorite drinks, and you'll have that ready. And just their
Yeah.
special little dietary needs. I know that you are highly allergic to nuts, like sesame seeds, nuts, right? So I
Yep.
make sure that when you arrive, everything is nut free, but you have enough snacks. And just
Yeah,
those little
me too.
things make people just, I don't know,
My
just
own mother doesn't do that, FYI.
what's
Like
that?
she forgets about my own mother doesn't do that. Like
Well, maybe she needs to work in the hospitality industry for a few years.
she never did, and she does.
That's so funny. But you know what? That's a really good point. Sometimes, Eileen, it really does, it comes so naturally to people in hospitality. And that's why I think this career path is such a great career path for the next generation. We learn so much that people they go to class. I met up with an old friend, and she was talking about how she loves to cook, and she's been taking cooking classes, and she's confident in her cooking. And I thought, gosh, that's so fantastic. But like my cooking classes, I learned everything from the chefs. I learned knife skills. I learned how to like cut julienne vegetables. I learned the whole talent and philosophy of just, being organized and staying
Yeah,
organized as well. In
that's
a
really
kitchen.
cool. I never
Yeah.
I never got back in the kitchen, so that's really cool that you got to learn that because I didn't really get that part.
So
But
there's
it's
this philosophy, it's called mise en place,
Mhm.
and it is a philosophy that is adopted in many kitchens, and it just means keeping everything in order. So many chefs will utilize that philosophy. Like, for instance, before they set up their day, they have proportioned all the sauces. They've cut up all their vegetables. They have their plates ready for plate up. They have their garnishes all cut and ready to roll. And it's just kind of a fun way to live, getting everything in order before you actually go ahead and do it. And you can
Yeah,
do that with work, getting everything the night before ready, making your bed. I mean, there's so
right.
many ways to apply it.
You have people over, just kind of getting
Yeah.
everything out and ready before they arrive, or prep, I guess, right?
Yeah.
For, yeah. No, I think it's good. I think I do. In today's world, how we're so into technology and human interaction is lacking. I do think that hospitality offers so much more than just a job to people. And I
Mhm.
do think the younger generation, I really hope will embrace it and it'll, you know, come back really and be one of those things where people really value it. I think the people that are in it do. And I think the people that have experienced it but don't really have that anymore miss it, but don't maybe can't verbalize it. So I think hospitality is awesome, as you do too.
It is. It's become a lifestyle for me. And we'll let's continue the conversation and sign off now because I think we're good on time. We want to keep these shorties kind of short and sweet, but let's continue the hacks and talk more about that during our next Saving Hospitality episode.
All right. I love it.
I'll see you
Thanks.
soon. Okay.